All right, let's see how we can implement the prototype pattern. So first, here in the component interface, we need to declare the clone operation. So clone. Now, what should be the return type of this operation? It should be a component object, because at this point, we don't know about any concrete components like circle, square, and so on. So every component knows how to clone itself, and that's why we get a clone object here. So here, our component is acting as a prototype, okay? Now we need to implement this method in our circle class. So over here, we have an error. We put the cursor here and press Alt and Enter to implement the clone method. Great. Now we need to move the logic for cloning a circle from context menu to the circle class. So I'm going to move these few lines right here. Now, with this implementation, we don't need to cast a component to circle because we're currently inside the circle class. So this is our source object. So let's remove this line. We just create a new circle and set its radius to the radius of the current object, right? And finally, we're going to return that. Now let's rename this to something more meaningful like new circle. That's better. So now the logic for cloning a circle is inside the circle class. And that means if we introduce a new kind of component in the future, like square, the logic for cloning the square is going to be inside the square class itself. This is the right place to assign this responsibility, okay? Now, with this implementation, in our context menu, we no longer need to check the type of the component because every component has a clone operation. So we can clone that. We get a new component and then, well, actually, let's rename that to new component. And then we can add that to our document, okay? So we don't need this line anymore. And that means our context menu now knows nothing about the circle class. It's only talking to the component interface. So if tomorrow we introduce a new kind of component, our context menu is not going to get affected. This is open-close principle in action. We can extend our application by introducing new classes.